Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the June reading for Leo's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. So I did a video earlier this week about retrograde and the lessons that we have learned, or we might have been learning during this retrograde period, this past retrograde period that happened. I'm going to put a link in the bio so that you can go and listen to that video whenever you get the chance. But I am, for this month, I'm doing readings that start off with doing a pull about the lessons that the signs might have learned during this retrograde period. Please, I live in New York City. The bikes are out, right? It's summertime. It's official. So you might hear a lot of bike action going on behind me. So what are the lessons that Leo's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury might have learned during this retrograde period? I feel like that's it, right? That's weird. You guys got the same, one of the same cards that Cancer got, which is pregnancy. So again, pregnancy could definitely be pregnancy. It could mean, you know, twins here, or just the birth or development or incubation period of a child. But it could also be something like in the physical realm, like a project or something that you're working on that you're putting a lot of energy and time into. This is like collaborative energy, meaning that you might want to work with people to help you birth this child, to get support for, work that you might be trying to do, right? Let's take a look at the second card. Sorry. The second card is labia, but I'm going to read what that card means, actually. Let's get to that one first. 49. Labia. I am protected. There's a lot of dual energy. So some of you, if you look here, you can see there's two women kind of like on the top, and then again we have, so there is like a lot of twin energy, Gemini energy kind of floating through this reading. So some of you might have Gemini in your chart, or this is your relationship that you're trying to work in, develop, has to do with a Gemini individual, or this is Gemini season. So again, this is just probably something that's also could be happening to you during this time frame, during Gemini season. So the labia says, I am protected. Encompassing the external structures of the genital area, the labia surrounds and protects the delicate and powerful parts of the inner generative space. Acting as a guardian and pleasure center, it can also hold on to unprocessed emotions and experiences. Take note of anything that feels a bit exposed or raw at this time, and consider how you might give more care to this cherished part of you. In the past, it might have felt liberating and important to share this part of yourself with the world, but now that same part is calling for an internal nurturing vibration instead. If you are considering whether to bring a new creation or aspect of yourself into the light for others to see, be sure to give yourself plenty of time and space to discern whether this is in alignment and conjures a sense of pleasure. Let joy be your guiding light. So the question, oh, I'm actually showing you the wrong damn card. Here we go. Sorry. So where in my life do I need to show up as the protection for what is precious to me? I kind of feel like a lot of this has to do with protecting your own personal space, protecting yourself from the push or the pull of people, situations, dynamics that aren't necessarily for your best and greatest good. Like, I feel like a lot of this is like you're in protection mode, or you need to be in protection mode because you are feeling a little bit emotional or vulnerable right now. Along with this card that I've been holding up for about 45 minutes, along with this card, it's really about nurturing and cherishing and protecting your energy and yourself. This, again, could also be pregnancy energy. So like if you're expecting a child, or if you're in that space of where you're full into like a pregnancy, or you have a pregnancy, like if you're a male a Leo and you have someone who's pregnant, there is a sense that there has to be like a seclusionary type energy so that this pregnancy can be protected. You might want to keep it a secret, or this could be that someone that you know could be pregnant and they're keeping it a secret because they want to protect it. They don't want everyone to know. So that's definitely something that might come up this month. Okay, so the next card again is the pregnancy card, and I can hold that up. Maybe I should hold up the other one. 28, the pregnancy. I am open to receiving support. That's what the card means. So a phase meant to nurture the growth of what is near and dear is something that requires time, energy, and tending. Pregnancy needs an untold and seemingly endless number of resources. You are being asked to commit to an endeavor wholeheartedly. An idea, relationship, or project has chosen you to help craft and cultivate it. What an honor to be the channel for this. Allow yourself to trust that you are the best person to bring forth this expression of consciousness. You are so very capable of caring for the people, projects, and dreams in your life that need your love and attention right now, but you don't have to do it all alone. There are many means of support available to you throughout this experience, so be sure to reach out, letting others know that you are open to receive. The question to ask yourself this month is, what am I currently nurturing? What could I ask others for help with? I mean, like I said, I feel like this is definitely a sense of like nurturing yourself, working on spending a lot of giving yourself a lot of self-care, taking care of yourself, kind of like withdrawing. This feels like a lot of like hermit energy. So kind of like withdrawing into a space where you can focus on yourself. And for some of you, like I said, it could be that you might be pregnant and you're trying to kind of keep it a secret, or someone around you is pregnant and they might be trying to keep it a secret because they're really focused. So if that is someone outside of you, and it kind of comes out because you can't really hide a pregnancy for that long. Offer your support and your help wherever you can. And also, if you are pregnant, reach out to the people that you really care and can trust, or you feel like you can trust, and allow them to give you the support that you need, right? So there's that. And then these cards comes from the Prairie Majesty Oracle. And I'm going to pull a card for what the theme of the month is going to be for you guys. What is the theme for Leo, Sun? I think we got 2 cards. Oh, no, we got 3 cards. Okay, so we got 3 cards for you guys. The first is Jump. There's a grasshopper on there. Jump. And the question is, where am I ready to leap forward? Jump. The second one is Map. Map. Which course takes me home? Let me turn it this way so you can see it. And Shed. How can I know myself is bigger than any fear? The Prairie King Snake. So that is The third card is shed. Again, I'll turn it this way so you can see them. Let me take a picture of them and put it up on the screen so you can take a look at that, right? Okay, so let's see. What is the first card? Beaver. Oh, wait. Grasshopper. That's what I'm looking for. What am I? Grasshopper. Okay. Throughout life, we experience, this is for the jump card, right? Throughout life, we experience different seasons and chapters. Some are characterized by rest and reflection, while others are more intense periods of growth. When Grasshopper shows up, there's a good chance you're poised to spring ahead in some way. Reflect back on your last chapter. What challenges have you recently faced? What did they teach you about yourself and how you want to show up in the world? Exploring answers to these questions will help you identify where you're ready to make huge progress. There are many species of grasshoppers to learn from, but on the whole, they are well known for their jumping prowess. If we had their abilities relative to human size, we could clear the length of a football field in a single leap. Isn't that amazing? Oh, that's kind of crazy. Grasshoppers' hind legs are engineered to function like tiny catapults, projecting him forward. In the prairie ecosystem, grasshopper plays an important role in the food chain by consuming vegetation and then defeating many other animals. As you synthesize recent experiences, imagine the derived wisdom coiling into springs. Allow this to propel you forward by leaps and bounds. Remember, too, that grasshopper swarms have enormous power to dismantle and alter the landscape. You may want to consider or seek out opportunities to collaborate with like-minded individuals who are also ready for big strides. How can you work together to measurably change structures and institutions in ways that benefit everyone? Prairie dog and black-footed ferret may be useful allies for you too. Jump, right? So we have jump. Before I continue, I just want to say this. This is what I'm getting from this situation, right? From this dynamic. And I'm going to get these other two cards here. So, jump. For some reason, this imagery of if we were grasshoppers, like if we were able to be in grasshopper form, we would be able to jump from one side of a football field to the other and spring, right, past everything in the middle, just cut through it, like collapse. It's a collapse, right? And so you see a lot of collapses, like in terms of like time and the time that it takes us to get from one thing to the next, specifically when it's like eclipse season. And we just had eclipse season not too long ago, right? If I'm not mistaken, this last eclipse period was in the sign of Scorpio, which is the symbol for the snake. So that would have been May 15th, May 16th. I remember it was a super moon. And it was in Scorpio. It was also an eclipse in Scorpio, which is a call for you to kind of like shed. So Scorpio is really about shedding and kind of coming out transformed and renewed, really, by a circumstance, by a situation, and kind of like letting that fall away. Because ultimately it feels like this could potentially be something that seems a little cyclical. And what Spirit is saying for you to do is to skip the middle of this nonsense, right? Don't start a new round or a new go round, a circle. Skip it. Jump from here to here and skip all the nonsense in between. And so this is an indication that you might be in a situation that is starting out, that's relatively new, and it's going down the path of similar situations that you've had before, right? Kind of following along in the same path, in the same direction. ultimately, I feel like you know how this ends, you know where this goes, you know what this looks like because you've been here before. And so Spirit is asking you to just kind of jump from here to the end of this, and let's move it along. I feel like the time and energy that you're wasting on this middle of the football court when you don't even need to be there, you could jump from one side to the other, it's a waste of time, right? So let me just keep going. Let me just go, because this second card here is map, right? And so we're talking about, oh wait, Prairie King Snake. I just saw Prairie King Snake. Let's instead talk about the shed, because that just came up. Picture yourself walking through the prairie on a warm summer night. To your left, the sun melts into the sky like a scoop of sherbet pooling on the pavement in the heat. You can hear songbirds trilling and the occasional rustle of small rodents. You relax into the moment, your fingers trailing the long grasses as you meander towards a crack up ahead. A few feet away, slight movement in the rocks near the water catches your eyes. A snake. Pause and pay attention. How is your body reacting? What does the snake activate inside you? When Prairie King Snake appears, it's probably time to shed a fear, worry, or anxiety of some kind. You've outgrown it. Notice whether any power it held over you in the past feels tight and constricting. Are you ready to see and name the source? Imagine yourself going right up to Prairie King Snake, looking it into its eyes. I don't even think this guy's looking it into the eyes. Be willing to bear witness for yourself and trust whatever comes to mind. Though mistaken for a rattlesnake, Prairie King Snake is actually non-venomous. He's also impervious to the poison of other snakes and may even eat them, thus the king in his name. Telling snakes apart can be tricky without closer inspection. Similarly, we all have to practice discernment in identifying fears and illusions masquerading as truths. Stand firm in your knowing of who you are and your connection to a higher power. Pulling additional cards may help you remember the eternalness of your spirit is always ensured. Exercise your authority to tune into the consciousness within you and receive insights of what would be most helpful at this time. Dude, jump past all of it, right? Jump past all of it. And the last card is Compass Plant. I don't know. It's kind of weird that they don't have the same name. Anyway, Compass Plant is aptly named. His golden yellow flowers are always reaching for the sun, towering over most of his companions in the prairie. The fingers of his lobed leaves eventually position themselves upright, pointing north and south in an effort to maximize sun exposure. And what other type of plant does that? The sunflower does the same thing. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Are you at a crossroads or a decision point of some kind? Starting a new cycle, right? Each of us maps our own destiny. Sometimes we need markers on the journey when we feel lost or unsure which way to go. These signposts help us remember who we are and why we're here. Today, Compass Plan suggests an exercise for reorienting yourself. Whether you're still learning to use your internal compass or the edges are worn smooth, now is a good time to check in. With pen and paper in hand, head outside if you can for stillness and free write or use these prompts to write how you feel. What are your values? What are your core beliefs? What brings you comfort and joy? If your present path feels aligned with these personal truths, keep trusting your navigation settings. If you find any discord, explore why. If you're facing a multiple choice question, which direction brings you back to yourself? Which direction brings you back to home? So ultimately, like I said, these three cards together really are telling a story here about avoiding pitfalls, avoiding unnecessary situations that you kind of already know where it's going. You are working through shedding old patterns, old beliefs, old systems, and trying to put yourself in a position where you're ultimately leaning towards the sun. You're ultimately looking for the thing that puts you in the best place that you could possibly be for yourself and for your life. You're looking forward to making decisions that are going to empower you to move in the direction that is in alignment with your ultimate goals and your values, and all the other things. We're just going to not waste our time, right? We're just not even going to waste our time on it. We're just going to keep moving. We're going to jump over all those things and get to the point where we're living in that space where we're focused on, you know, living in the sun and allowing the sun to be our guide. Okay? That was good. I really like that. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull some tarot cards for this month. I am doing the Shortened Celtic Cross, which is 5 cards. So I like to call it the Celtic Cross without the tail. So I'm going to see what Spirit has for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. What is crossing? In the conscious realm, in the subconscious realm, and in the near future. Okay, so again, I'm probably gonna have to take a photo of this so you guys can see it kind of like laid out. But so in the present moment, we have here the Page of Swords, right? So really this is an indication that you are definitely on a new path, right? It feels like you're moving forward into something new. Your curious nature. I feel like you have like this new type of energy where you're focused on like learning as much as you can and going out and exploring. In fact, there is an element of exploration here on the subconscious level. We have the 3 of Wands, which is an indication that you're planning like a trip or wanting to take a trip, wanting to go on a journey. But this could also mean that you are taking the time and you're taking the opportunity to really like look and see where it is that you want to go. I don't know if you can see this here. There's like these boats kind of going. So this could definitely be overseas, not in the country that you live in, but definitely crossing the seas. So there is like a sense of adventure that you're kind of going through right now. There's also the sense of romance with the Knight of Cups. So, but that Knight of Cups is crossing the Page of Swords, sorry. So the Knight is crossing the page, which means that there's like a struggle between a new paramour, perhaps, a new love, a new romance. This card is an indication that there is like something, a romantic gesture, this could be a person that is coming into your space who is a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio individual that is offering you a cup, or you want to offer someone a cup. You want to start a new romance, but what's crossing you here is, the sense of adventure that you want to be on, right? So for some of you, this could be the crux between choosing the adventure or choosing the love, right? you know, kind of fighting with each other. But there is definitely a sense of exploration here, like I said, with the Three of Wands, right? So in the past, I feel like you have been kind of like always weighing out these two options. Like these two elements of yourself are kind of like at war with you, wanting to have that nurturing dynamic, but also wanting to have that sense of adventure. I feel like you kind of are always waffling between the two, right? Temperance is saying that you might have been in a situation where you couldn't necessarily do both. And you were kind of waiting for the right time to do so, or really just, like I said, in the space of balancing out those two elements of your personality, particularly in Gemini season, because I feel like it's like a war right now with these two type of energies for you this month, right? So it's like adventure or it's the love. And so again, we have in your conscious realm, you are, you know, battling between, you see these two elements of these two cards. It's like the back and forth. So you're not only just battling the emotional aspect of it, but you're also battling the financial aspect of it. So some of you could find yourself in a situation where you're really trying to balance out tumultuous finances. You might feel like you are kind of like trying to balance where you spend your money, where you spend your time, who you give your time to, who you give your energy to. And really just having to feel like you're trying to like make difficult choices at this time about going one place or going the other. You could be also kind of like juggling between these two individuals, right? So here we have a water sign person, and here we have air sign. So this person could also be a Gemini. There is a lot of Gemini energy in this chart, and that could just be in this reading, sorry. And it could just be because we are in Gemini season, but it could also mean that one of these individuals that you are kind of like going back and forth between is a Gemini. So this person could be a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius as an air sign. So, you know, it could be like a battle of those. And the final outcome here is the Queen of Swords, right? Which is basically the truth. So I feel like you might not necessarily know the full story or the full picture or the full dynamic of this situation that you are kind of like battling, battling with. But I feel like there might be an element of this situation that isn't necessarily fully known to you as of yet, right? I feel like, again, this could be a situation where this is three different individuals kind of in the same storyline, but I don't feel like everybody knows about the other people, right? So if we're talking about this element here, when we're talking about jumping over a dynamic, if you're entering into a dynamic that feels a little bit like you're on repeat, then like spirit is like literally saying that you need to kind of jump over the mess of this energy here and focus on making plans for yourself, work on really balancing your energy, work on balancing your time, work on protecting your finances, work on protecting your energy, work on building and growing something that is for you, to nurture you. So that's kind of what's coming up. I got these cards. Cards are all over the place right now. And I do want to take a photo for you. But I want to pull some clarifiers, and we're going to see how this lands. So, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Ooh. I tell you, boy. Okay. So we have here, you see what we're talking about, the ship? Where's the ship? We have ships all over the place, right? We have the ships and the Two of Pentacles. We have the ships that were in the Three of Wands. So when we talk about a ship, we're talking about a journey, an adventure. Like I said, it could be a physical trip, but it could also be an emotional one. It could be an emotional journey, a tumultuous one, really, right? But ultimately, I feel like this is something that you might be hopeful for. Like, whatever this experience is and whatever this dynamic is, it's something that you're hopeful for. But ultimately, I feel like there is like a push and pull here. When we see this card, it's a symbol of morality and really trying to figure out what's moral and what's not. And I feel like this is definitely you on this trip and on this journey to figure out what's moral, what's morality to you, what is the right thing to do. But it also has a lot to do with the way that you express your sexual energy. If you're expressing your sexual energy in a way where you kind of feel like you're exploring certain avenues of your sexuality, and ultimately it's like focusing on whether something feels morally right. But with the 32 here, which is the Moon card, like I said, there is an indication when we see the Moon card that there are some things that are not necessarily open to you. Now, this whole journey that you're going on is really kind of like gonna unlock some aspects of yourself. Like, you might find yourself at the end of this feeling like you want to make some changes to your life. You want to go a different path. You want to go a different way. You don't want to keep doing the same things. And I feel like in some weird twisted kind of way, like you might already know that, but I feel like you just want to go on this adventure. And again, okay. So we are going to go ahead and pull the advice cards for you guys. What is the advice for Leo? I already shuffled these. I just like to shuffle them extra hard. So let's go. What is the advice for Leo? That's what I flipped over. What is the advice for Leo? Okay. See, we have truth and we have struggle. Okay. Truth and struggle. Where's the book for this? Okay, so I'll go with the first card that came out. Oh, look at that. It just opened right to it. Struggle. Struggle is a part of this life. So much so that you probably know people who seem to constantly attract one struggle after another into their lives. This is their comfort zone. While struggle is natural, it is natural only so far as it lends itself to learning lessons and overcoming interpersonal challenges. Beneath every one of these struggles is the gift of enlightenment, the satisfaction of a lesson learned. Use this knowledge as the light at the end of your dark tunnel. What lesson is the struggle teaching you? Alternately, after a brief setback, this struggle will start to right itself. So I feel like that kind of falls in line definitely with what kind of came out in the cards. Like I said, Spirit really wants you to kind of avoid the struggle and, move into the space where, you're returning back to yourself, you're returning back to home, you're like leaning into the sun and living a life that feels good, as opposed to enduring struggles and going through the same struggles over and over again. I feel like Spirit wants you to kind of like avoid that, right? And so the next card that comes out is the Truth card. The eagle proudly surveys its domain from such a high perch that all pertaining to this situation is revealed. The shadows hide nothing from its keen wisdom. Once you can remove yourself from the muck that lower vibrations keep you in, you can attain a viewpoint that enables you to see the truth of the matter. This card advises you to search for the truth of the situation, regardless of the emotions it brings up. Are you or someone connected to you unconsciously suppressing the truth? Hiding from the truth can only intensify the lesson later on. So again, we have the truth being revealed to you, right? What was the other card that came out? It was, let's see. It was the moon. No, it was the stars. No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. What did I do with the moon card? I don't know what I did with the moon card. Oh, there it goes. It's the truth. So, in essence, every one of these cards here that came out today is referring to the truth. So, ultimately, you don't know everything that's going on, right? So, you might find yourself in like a space this month where you're going to have a little bit of a struggle with feeling like you're going through the same situation that you constantly keep finding yourself in. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that you might not necessarily be honest with yourself about the direction that you're going on and where you want to go and how you want to get there. And you might constantly find yourself in the same situations and the same dynamics over and over again. And really, it's the time to learn from the lessons of your past and try to avoid going through unnecessary struggle and unnecessary drama and unnecessary situations or dealing with unnecessary people, and really kind of protect your energy, your resources, your time, and really kind of cultivate relationships and dynamics that, they are healing for you, right? They help you. They make you feel good. They bring you to a place where you can be focusing and looking at the sun, which is you. Like, that's like your natural state, wanting to be, focusing on the sun. So hopefully you can sit and take the time to really kind of look and evaluate what situations and what dynamics might be constantly playing out and repeat in your life, and find a way to jump over that, right? And to navigate in a way where you're living and acting in a way that honors what your core values are and what your core beliefs are, and will ultimately help you avoid going through unnecessary struggling, right? So that is the reading this month. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you for listening to these readings. I'm trying a new format. I'm trying to work it out. We'll see how that goes. And please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for post notifications. And leave me a comment below. Let me know how this is working out for you this month. And share it. Like, share the video with someone who you feel like, okay, like, girl, you need to hear this. Or boy, you need to listen to this. Okay? And I will see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye.